Brittney Griner, one of the most dominant forces the WNBA has ever seen, broke down in tears after what may have been the toughest game of her career. Once the face of playoff basketball, Griner found herself benched in crunch time, watching helplessly as her team collapsed. And on the other side, Aaliyah Boston, the rising star who stole the spotlight and carried the Indiana Fever into the semifinals for the first time in nearly a decade. With Caitlin Clark sidelined and half the roster missing, analysts said it was impossible. But the Fever didn't just win, they flipped the entire script of the postseason. This wasn't just a game, it was the kind of night that changes legacies. Brittney Griner's breakdown after the loss wasn't just emotional, it was symbolic. For years, she has been the player opponents feared in elimination games, the anchor in the paint who could swing momentum with a block or a hook shot. But against Indiana, that dominance evaporated. Flat-footed rotations, missed shots, and a coach's decision to sit her during crunch time told the world one thing: the trust in Griner as a playoff closer might be gone. Her own words said it best. "At the end of the day, it's my fault. I let everybody down." It was a heartbreaking admission that may mark the closing chapter of her career as the WNBA's most feared center. No Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, no Arie McDonald, no Chloe B. 6 players, gone. Almost half of Stephanie White's rotation was sitting in street clothes. On paper, the Fever weren't supposed to survive Game 3. Analysts said their playoff drought would continue, but instead, this underdog group walked into Atlanta's home court and outplayed the dream from start to finish. The last time Indiana won a playoff series, Tamika Catchings was still the franchise star. Nearly a decade later, a patched-up, injury-riddled roster somehow found the magic to rewrite history. Every playoff run needs a hero, and in this series it was Aliyah Boston. She didn't just post a double-double, she owned the most important moments. Boston scored 14 points, pulled down 12 rebounds, and added 6 assists. But it was her go-ahead layup with just 7.4 seconds remaining that became the signature play of the Fever's postseason. She overpowered defenders, stayed calm under pressure, and showed the maturity of a veteran. On defense, she made Griner uncomfortable all night, forcing fadeaways, shutting down her spots, and stripping away the confidence of a player who once ruled the paint. It wasn't just dominance, it was a statement: the new queen of the post has arrived. But against Boston, all of that crumbled. Shots she once made with ease rimmed out. Defensive rotations came late. Instead of being the anchor, she became the liability. And when the final minutes arrived, she wasn't even on the court. That decision sent shockwaves across the league. Was this just a slump? Or was it the inevitable end of a legendary career? Retirement whispers grew louder, and fans couldn't ignore the contrast. Where Griner once stood tall, Aaliyah Boston now loomed larger. If Boston was the anchor, Kelsey Mitchell was the firepower. From the opening tip, Mitchell refused to let Indiana fold. She scored 24 points, including 19 in the first half, keeping the Fever within striking distance when Atlanta threatened to pull away. Every drive through traffic, every contested jumper, every deep shot was a reminder of why she has been Indiana's most reliable scorer. Without Clark, the team needed a star to carry the offense, and Mitchell stepped into that role with confidence. For years, Griner was the standard of postseason dominance. Her prime was filled with double-doubles, rim protection, and endless highlight reels. Her scoring didn't just keep Indiana alive, it set the tone for the fight they brought until the final buzzer. Signed on a hardship contract, Odyssey Sims was never supposed to be this important. Yet in Game 3, she played like she had been preparing for this stage her entire career. 16 points, 8 assists, and 1 unforgettable pass. The feed to Boston for the game-winning layup. Sims gave Indiana a steady second ball handler, another scorer, and most importantly, a fearless leader in crunch time. Her poise under pressure was astonishing for someone who wasn't even in the rotation months ago. In the biggest game of the season, Sims wasn't a role player. She was a difference maker. Sometimes a season swings not on a superstar play, but on a single defensive stop. For Indiana, that came from Lexi Hull, with 7.4 seconds left, and Atlanta clinging to one final hope. Hull jumped a passing lane, stole the ball cleanly, and sealed the win. No highlight reel dunk, no flashy finish, just pure anticipation and execution. That steal erased any chance of a dream comeback and stamped Indiana's ticket to the semifinals. For Hall, it was more than just a play. It was validation of the hard work she's put in to carve out a place in the Fever's rotation. Championship-level teams don't just rely on stars. They rely on role players who make winning plays in small moments. Brianna Turner's defensive presence, Natasha Howard's veteran leadership, Sha Petty's clutch three, Michaela Timpson's 5 rebounds in just 4 minutes. These were the hidden gems of Indiana's win. Every contribution mattered, because with 6 players injured, the margin for error was razor thin. And when it mattered most, every player in uniform delivered something that pushed Indiana closer to victory. The Fever's injured stars didn't just sit quietly. They turned themselves into coaches, motivators, and energy drivers from the bench. Caitlin Clark was locked in every huddle. Sophie Cunningham shouted directions like an assistant coach. Chloe B lifted teammates with encouragement every dead ball. Even the smallest actions mattered, from Clark rocking black Air Force Ones, which fans instantly dubbed a good luck charm, to the sideline energy that roared louder than Atlanta's home crowd. That invisible sixth man gave Indiana the mental edge they needed to hold steady when the game tightened in the fourth quarter. Indiana's magical run now runs into the ultimate test, the Las Vegas Aces. Boja Wilson, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, a roster stacked with stars who know how to close games and punish mistakes. The Fever survived Atlanta on grit, heart, and togetherness. But Vegas? Vegas is the mountain no one has been able to climb. For Aaliyah Boston, this means the biggest challenge of her young career battling A'ja Wilson in the paint. For Mitchell, it means shot-making without empty possessions. For Sims, it means keeping composure against championship-level defense. The Fever have already rewritten expectations. The question is, can they rewrite the league's balance of power? Brittney Griner's tears told the story of an ending. Aliyah Boston's heroics told the story of a beginning. Together, they gave us a night that felt like history shifting right in front of our eyes. Indiana's first playoff series win since 2015 wasn't supposed to happen. Not with half the roster injured, not without Caitlin Clark. And yet here they are, standing in the semifinals with nothing to lose and everything to prove. The passing of the torch has already happened. The only question left is whether the Fever can keep the fire burning against the Aces. So I'll leave it with you. Do you think this was the end of Brittney Griner's dominance, or the birth of a new Indiana dynasty led by Aliyah Boston? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because if this series taught us anything, it's that the impossible is officially possible.